girls with their nails done now. Girls with their nails done. Girls with their nails done. Girls with their nails done now. Girls with their nails done now.
And there's Barry just bouncing away with just the end of the music.
Thought that I'd just got away with that then, but clearly not.
Yeah, clearly didn't. Hello, everybody. We are back again. We're trying to get a load of these out now. This is going to be, for the foreseeable future, a weekly show on a Friday at 6 o'clock, allegedly. Some slight issues here, but we hopefully have got them sorted here. So basically what we're going to be doing, this is going to be just a wee chat about this week's news in the cloud space. We're going to be talking about all platforms: Stadia, GeForce Now, Luna, Shadow, xCloud, PS Now, whatever comes our way. So it's just been a busy news week this week again. So we're going to leave Stadia for a bit later on, but I think we're going to start off with Luna this week. And they have had a mixed week. The way I summed it up in the tweet earlier, Stadia's had an interesting week. GeForce Now still got its consistency. Luna's had a mixed week, and Shadow is doing the hokey. So I'm hoping all this will make sense as we go on. So we're going to talk about Luna's mixed week, and they have had a new game come to the platform, and they also had the bad news of New World being delayed again. So, Barry, can you remind us what game came to Luna? Am I putting you on the spot here?
No, you can indeed. It was Blaze Blue Cross Tag Battle, which looks to be... I'm going to describe it as a button basher. I think it's a typical kind of fighter, game that kind of mixes multiple universes and characters from those universes. And the universes that it mixes have just gone completely out of my head. I can remember the last one's an anime one, which is the first time that it's featured in a crossover. And I can't remember the other ones that are in there. Can you remember them off the top of your head?
I can't. My head is just like I said. What was the game? Just say it again, so that I might jog the memory again.
Blaze Blue Cross Tag Battle.
What all is? It's all I know. It's a button mashing fighting game, but I know a lot of people have actually enjoyed that as it's gone on there. But yes. Again, it's another get on Luna. You get what you pay for there. Games getting added all the time, and so far no games have been taken away. We're apparently not going to get any games taken away from Luna while it's in beta. And just remember, it is still a beta, so there will be issues with it going forward. Thanks all for joining us in the chat here. Zero, Happy, Treasurector, Andrew, Raphael. I'm not in trolling mode or anything here. But yeah, it's Luna just adding the games. We'll move on to the slightly less than good news for Luna this week, and that was New Word. Completely went out from my head. New Word has been delayed until August, and there's going to be a beta in July. Again, New Word hasn't officially been confirmed as coming to Luna. However, the store page arrived up on there, so the chances are it's in game. It's going to be going there. But this is disappointing. Another disappointment for Amazon and their game studios, because they are having a lot of setbacks with that. But it has been pushed back. We know that they're committed to it. So this may be we don't want another one of them mistakes where they have to unrelease a game. So it's going to be fun.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, I think whilst I think everybody's tone, the initial kind of reception of that delay, the delay is obviously for those that are really looking forward to it, going to be a tone of disappointment. I think the thing that people just need to hold on to and focus on is, one, we are technically still in a global pandemic, and undoubtedly that will be hampering, elements of the development phase, ensuring they get it ready. But secondly, they're citing very good reasons for making sure that they push it back. And it's also been, in my opinion, quite a positive message to they've had to obviously come out with that disappointment in the sense of saying that it has been delayed. But they've then come out and said, look, there is going to be, here's the new date. So it's going to launch in August. And on this day, in July, we're going to have a beta, which I think is probably the best of a bad news post that you could have when you're delaying a game, in terms of being informative. I think everybody's just got to hope that, the delays come to that fruition in order to ensure that the game ends up being the best possible quality that it can be when it drops on, whichever platform that it arrives on.
Yeah, it is indeed. I'm going to butcher this person's name because I'm just awesome. Jason Schreider, hopefully I'm saying that right, has just released an article today over on Bloomberg, and it's well worth checking out. Jason has a mixed reputation in the gaming space. I think that is fair to say, but the majority of people sort of know when he actually puts something together, it is usually quite correct, and there's lots of sources and stuff. You may not agree with the way he goes about things or any other that, but he does get the stories out there. He is talking about New Word in his article, but he's basically saying that there is a load of games are just completely delayed because of the pandemic. And it's New Word's one, Hogwarts Legacy is another, Prince of Persia, Far Cry 6. Basically, we're going to hear a load more games are going to be delayed. So if you're waiting on this big game this year and it's on your hit list, don't be surprised if it gets pushed back. And I went back to last year's. Also said this. He said, for the foreseeable future, that was already last year when all this, the pandemic actually started off. When this all kicked off, this year's games are more or less there. The knock-on effect is going to take years, and it's going to do that. So I think we're starting to see that now.
Definitely.
So it being delayed is not unexpected, and expect more delays and things. So don't be worrying about that. I think we will move on to the Shadow news now. Oh,
Real
sorry.
quick, just before we do move on, just to come back to Blaze Blue Cross Tag Battle.
Okay.
The characters that it pulls from are Blaze Blue, Persona, Under Night in Birth, and then obviously from the first time, it's RWBY, which is the anime. So they're the collection of characters that they're pulling together in that nice button basher.
Cool. Again, we're going to go into a bit more depth into this probably on Sunday, and because we're going to be doing this on the LunaCast on Sunday, and we will be announcing our Luna, what's it? The Luna Club. The Luna Club, which it's like basically a book club but for games, and we're going to be choosing a game which basically as wide as possible, because I know a lot of people don't have Luna but they're still interested in it. So the game we're going to choose is hopefully going to be available for everybody there. And Hell Monkey, sorry, I missed saying hello there. So we'll move on to Shadow here, and this is going to be the Hokey Cookie. Basically, this week, the Shadow app was removed from the Apple Store. And guess what? It's back in. So in, out, you shake it all about. So that is the news in the world of Shadow. The iOS app is back in. Anything really to add, the amazing Shadow news of the week?
No, I think the only other thing that I noticed in their post in relation to it is they said that they've introduced a maximum adaptive bit rate to ensure that your quality, if you have kind of dips in performance in terms of on your underlying connection, they've put something in there to kind of adapt to try and still ensure that your stream is the best possible quality that it can be when you're using Shadow. Which is probably just a good one just to throw in there.
Yep, cool. Shall we go? What do you want to go to next? Do you want GeForce Now or Stadia? You can go first.
You put me on a spot. I haven't even got a coin close. Let's go Stadia.
Go Stadia. Stadia, the good, the bad, and the ugly. We will start positive. Outriders is coming to end date to Stadia now, which is brilliant news. It is up for pre-order now, so you can go and pre-order it. It will also have cross-play, so that means you won't have to worry about multiplayer lobbies on it, or because it's a multiplayer-focused sort of game, you don't have to worry about that because everybody is connected together, which is absolutely brilliant news for everybody, because I think that is what multiplayer games need to be going forward, no matter what platform they are. Get them all talking together. So are you looking forward to Outriders?
I am looking forward to Outriders. Since I first seen the trailer last year, it was a game that kind of, I think, was kind of on the 2021 map of that might be one that I think I definitely need to pick up. So it's good to see. Obviously, we've got confirmation as it got a little bit closer, to its release date. That it is going to be dropping on the platform, and it's obviously up for pre-order now. Because I think there was a concern maybe between the community potentially that what we were going to see is Outriders being delayed. And not coming out, but obviously thankfully it's coming day and date, and of course we've got that exclusive feature as well in Stream Connect, which obviously the Division is probably the best example of the Stream Connect experience that people will have had, so it's going to be nice with the focus that Outriders has got on it to also have that exclusive feature as well.
Yes, indeed. It is absolutely brilliant. More games should be taking advantage of that, and it's good to actually see that. So, like you said, with the Division 2, I'm expecting that to be basically the same as that, where you will only get the Stream Connect feature if you're teaming up in a party of Stadia users. So, it's all good fun with that. So, that is the good.
Indeed, yeah. And just to touch very quickly on what Zero Games has said, obviously no demo on Stadia. I know
was the bad.
Is that the bad? Sorry, I've stole your thunder. Carry on, Duncan.
No, you continue on. I was just going to say that was what was going to be the bad.
Yep. Obviously, there are demos going to be available of Outriders on other platforms. Sadly, Stadia won't be one of them. And I've seen, I think it was today or last night, I've actually seen people on, on social media, on Twitter, interacting with the account and kind of asking the question. And the team behind it have just come back and said it's just at this point in time, it's just simply not possible to deliver a demo on Stadia, unfortunately.
I actually shared this privately with someone. The reason I don't think there is a demo is because they've pitched the port out to a different development team, and they just don't have the time and maybe the to get it done for Stadia, because that would be more money for to actually get that on. We will also touch now on the ugly of Stadia this week. And it was a hit piece by Kotaku. I'm going to call it a hit piece because it was, but it was a hit piece because they got ammo for the hit piece. And it's unfortunately, you're probably going to see more of these coming out in the next number of weeks. There will be a trickle of these, I believe. Our good friend Jason Schreider, I think, will be in the mix of this as well.
Yeah.
Basically, the nuts and bolts of it, we actually did a reaction to it earlier in the week, was Phil Harrison told the Stadia Games and Entertainment team, "Oh, you're doing a brilliant job," then fired him the week later, even though the week before he knew he was going to be letting them go. And the other thing about it as well, one of the reasons Stadia Games and Entertainment was allegedly shut down was because of being the Microsoft buying Bethesda. I know, Barry, we haven't heard your take because of some things this week. So what was your overall sort of thing on this?
I mean, firstly, I think, I guess you could say on a moral level, what's happened is not cricket. It's certainly not the right way to conduct yourself. But that being said, in businesses that I've worked in, and I'm sure multiple businesses across the world, it is all too common nowadays that they conceal right until the last possible moment, that things are kind of going to go south or people are going to be let go. I don't think it's reflected particularly well on them. And sadly, I think the most disappointing thing is probably because of the way it's been handled and it's now out there, there will be a number of devs who do feel aggrieved at how that situation unfolded. They may have expected a little bit more respect and honesty and integrity, which they didn't. They don't feel they got, and clearly it doesn't appear that they did. And I think the thing that does make that sad is it does pave the way for people and media outlets who particularly aren't favourable to Stadia to actually go and attract those people who will want to talk. Obviously media is media, and these things, stories will get people likes, they will get people driving traffic to their website. But it's one of those situations that I just feel it's made it easier to kind of stick the boot in at a time when things are already a little bit on the tough side for the Stadia team.
Yep, exactly. And I'm just going to put this out here as well. There's no such thing as a neutral press outlet. Everybody tries to be neutral, but everybody comes in with their own biases and things like that. So whatever news outlet you like or think is 100% neutral, the chances are they're not. But there is some who are more neutral than others or more closer to the center. This is why it's always good to get information from a load of different sources, because everybody has their own takes on things, and it's better not to just go to one place which is just going to sing the praises of something or just say the negative of something. Yes, Sammy, we are. We all try to be neutral, but everybody's own experiences and things come out there, and it is just a natural thing. When what we do is we try to be neutral when we put out the news, and I have said in our chat before, and others have said, is when there's a story out there and you don't feel that you can do it justice because you'll be really upset or whatever, you ask someone else to do it, because you can just feel your bias coming out, or bias is probably the wrong word, your opinion, your strong opinion on it. So it's better to actually get it out there. If it's just plainly reporting, yeah, that's easy enough. But when you get into these sort of reporting, you have to be extremely careful. So again, we try to be as neutral as possible when we're putting other articles out, but when we're on here, these personality and things come out there. So yeah, this is just something to do with the media in general. So, and again, just go to different sources because you get a fuller picture all around.
Absolutely, it is. It's the most advisable thing to do, because necessarily, I think we're all, we can all identify that everything is not maybe as it seems sometimes, or the way that it's presented, and I think it does do everybody, a little bit of good, to make sure that they kind of collect that info from multiple sources. The only other thing I was going to say on that, in terms of kind of the last bit of that about Bethesda. And kind of the inference there that the Bethesda buyout has kind of had an impact. It's difficult to say. I'm not sure that we'll ever know. I mean, I think everybody knew when that acquisition was announced, it was a absolutely mammoth acquisition, and it was certainly going to yield some power. Is it possible that it's had an impact on plans? Possibly. But I think it's going to be far too difficult to say. To try and kind of say that that's going to impact what you do from a first party perspective, I think is potentially a little bit of a stretch, because ultimately, if you want to deliver first party content, then you concentrate on your first party content. You don't worry about necessarily what a third party being absorbed into, a major player like Microsoft are going to do. Obviously, yes, it's consideration in the wider landscape, but not specifically relating to the first party studio, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's just something to keep an eye on going forward. And again, if you feel that you're just getting nothing but positive news or negative news, just get out from that bubble and just have a look, and just go out there and just to see what there is, because people who are saying positive stuff and negative stuff, usually if they're in and around Belgium, you can see why people are saying each of the things. So it's actually good to actually have lots of different people in your wee bubble. But regarding this story, my feelings on it are, I think it's probably true. However, I think it's coming off slightly worse because of emotions being high. And if Stadia actually did do a PR thing, theirs would be completely the other side. So then you read it to be somewhere in between. So I don't think we'll ever find out what's actually gone on there for a while to come, if and when Stadia closes down, which we all hope does not happen at all. But if that does happen, I think we would find out at some stage after that. Moving on to more positive sort of notes here. We will move on to GeForce Now. GeForce Now has had another absolute banging month or week. Banging's too maybe strong of a word. Consistent. They are just being absolutely consistent in bringing all their games out every week. We're going to actually share this here if I actually do this right here. But knowing me, I probably won't. Let me see. Did I do it right? Yep, that's not me.
You have.
Basically, they are 11 games out this week, and there's actually a demo for Worms Rumble, which you can actually play this weekend because it's on a free weekend or on Steam, and you can go and do that. Basically, this week, no laughing Barry. This week they are focusing on indie games, talking about Valheim, and they also have an interview with Tierra. Again, I'm not going to go down that. I sort of covered that last night. That's just stirring. So fair play to them, because Microsoft do that, PlayStation do that, all the gaming companies do that. So this is nothing unknown or bad and evil. This is what people in the gaming world do because it is a business.
Absolutely. I think it's one of those things, isn't it, when you're trying to capture market share, people's attention, and kind of grow your numbers, you ultimately, as kind of ruthless or as sad as it may seem, you have to capitalize on other people's mishaps or bumps in the road, shall we say. And I think there was a very large note of this week's blog post from GFN on their Thursday post, kind of capitalizing, shall we say.
Yeah, and as Sammy has said here as well, if you are GeForce Now founder, if you check your email, you will have Disco Nitro free for a month. So you can go and claim that now. So if you're a big Discord user, I think that's good for Discord users. I haven't a clue. I just get shouted. It's just another platform I get shouted at on. So it's just really good. So the games which were added, Dr. Spaceman has said he's played this, and he's says it was fantastic. Hellish Quartz, South Park: The Stick of Truth, Assassin's Creed, Darkest Hour, a Hearts of Iron game, Days of Infamy, Dusk Diver, Going Under, Home Behind 2, Lumberjacks Destiny, Rise of Industry, and Sniper Ghost Warrior 2. Any of them games stick out for you?
It's a tough one. I think when I looked at the list, I was tempted, because I think I missed it first time round, but I was tempted to go with a bit of Sniper Ghost Warrior 2. Was something that kind of stood out to me, because I thought that could be a good bit of fun.
And Sniper, sorry if I got that right, Sniper Ghost Warrior 2 is on offer, or it was on offer last night for £2. So really cheap there. I'm just putting up Chesrector's wee comments there. Andy Morse, if you go subscribe to him, he is going to be doing a comparison later between Stadia games and Xbox games. But you can actually put that into GeForce Now context as well, just to see what is the overall price of games and is each platform value for money. Again, value for money is always in the eye of the beholder, and it's fun. We could have a wee quick talk here if you want, and just check in. There seems to have been a lot of outrage over the last couple of days on Twitter about GeForce Now free offering, where it is completely free, but there seems to be massive queues now for people to actually play. What is your take, or would you like me to go first in that one?
I think we're probably singing off similar hymn sheets, if I'm honest with you, when it comes to this, because I think I've seen a couple of your comments, and it very much aligns with kind of my opinion in that sense. I kind of feel that, I mean, firstly, if I give it a balanced approach, if you want somebody to try the service, then you need to make it as easy as possible for somebody to try it. And in terms of getting to that point of being able to actually, getting into an account setup, that sort of thing, that's relatively straightforward. The bit that I think maybe where it does fall down is, at the moment, I think with popularity being driven and interest being piqued because of movements that are going on, within the cloud gaming sphere, I think GFN is seeing a bit of an upturn. So the fact that people are now having to regularly queue on, to kind of get access, whilst it doesn't send a great message and people are probably frustrated about it, I kind of feel like because it's a free window to access content, you kind of need to accept that for what it is, in the sense of the fact that you're not paying anything. You may already have that content in your Steam, your Epic library, Ubisoft, whichever subscriptions that you may already have. And what you're effectively doing is trying out a free window in terms of firing up a rig, and kind of accessing your content, in order for you to kind of measure the level of quality of output from that service. And for me, I don't think there can be a gripe for it. They're kind of, whilst it might be an annoyance at the moment, they've got a $24.95 offer where you can have 6 months worth. For most people, if you want to throw £25 at it for 6 months to give it a proper test, then you'll get the best experience, and that would be where your true test of what the platform is like to gauge from it would be. It would be well served to do it in that fashion, in comparison to trying it on free, getting stuck in a queue, and then saying, hang on a minute, I'm stuck in a queue. Why am I having to wait, 350 odd people or 400 people or whatever it is, at that time that you try and log on? I don't see it as a justified argument, because it is simply a window to access content that you already own. Yep,
you explained it a lot better than me. I just go for the lazy one and go. It's like complaining for a free lunch. GeForce Now are just putting this out for everybody to use for free. They are making absolutely no money on it. They are going to be losing money on this because people are playing it, and they will not be getting it, any money off it. The only way GeForce Now makes any money is if people subscribe to it. So that is the reason why they limit the free queue, and the founders jump straight into it. Is really, I personally, and I've put this on Twitter, I think they need to change somehow the free tier to make it better, because it's not doing GeForce Now any favors, and it's not doing the users any favors as well, because of the actual tuning system, because that might put people off actually getting the full one. Because I know there is times where people are queuing for the guts of an hour, depending on what data center they're on, and that's not a good experience for people either. So I think it needs tweaking, but because of the actual explosion of GeForce Now, adding over 1 million customers or 1 million users in the space of like 2 months, absolutely bonkers sort of thing. This is why it's funny, this GeForce Now stuff.
I think it is, and you kind of whenever anything is free, there's always a downside to it being free. If you go to the App Store on iOS or on Android and you download a free version of an app, okay, you might not have to necessarily always wait, but quite often you'll get an advert pop up, which will give you a delay into be able to access that content. And yes, it's on a very small scale, but for the ability to try it for free, there's always a limitation or a downside. And I think if you go into that with an open mind, it happens everywhere else. I mean, if I think back in 2020, there's a real good example of how people went into something, with a real open mind. And that was when Nintendo did one of their last Direct Connects, and they released Control, and they said there's a free demo for everybody to try now. They stuck everybody in a queue in order to get access to it. And that queue went down, and that queue in instances was 3 to 4 times bigger than what people are reporting seeing on GeForce Now at the moment. I was one of those people that tried it when the Direct Connect went out. And I think I was like 1400 in the queue just to try what control looked like in the cloud running through a Switch. And I think if you go into it with that mindset, then it's fair game. But I do agree, the point that you made. They do need to make it more accessible and more available. I mean, I got lucky when I first tried GeForce Now, because at the point that I actually decided that I was going to try it, rather than trying the free tier, I actually said, you know what, I'm just going to pay $4.99 for a month and try it for a month properly. At the moment, that option's not gone. It's not there. You can only literally either have the free tier or the $24.99 founders. But still, I think it's going into it with the right mindset about what you're going to get from the experience.
Yep. And actually, I'll just do a quick comparison with Stadia's free to play. Stadia's is free for reasons. You can actually buy games on Stadia, and even if you just want to play Destiny 2 and the games went out from my head. What's the other free to play game? Bomberman. You can actually buy DLC for that, so you can support the games that way, and Stadia gets a cut. So if you buy the next expansion or not even that, if you go and buy the silver shards, I'm awful of all these different currencies, and Destiny 2 where the silver, if you go and buy silver, so you buy £10 worth of silver on Destiny 2, Stadia gets a cut of that money. If you go buy £10 worth of silver on the free tier on GeForce Now, that money goes to Steam, or the cut of that goes to Steam. So that is the difference on the different services. And you can buy games on Stadia, you cannot buy games on GeForce Now. And I think this is a point which may get a bit lost at times with people. Actually, we're going to end on one piece of news, which Barry's going to go, I don't know what Duncan's talking about here. What the news is, Antstream. I posted this, and I think a lot of people have actually jumped on board with this. Antstream is it's not a new cloud service. It's a cloud service which is retro games in the cloud, and it is free, like GeForce Now free. But it's supported by ads, so you may see ads every so often pop up. But you can play the old school games, like Gauntlet was added to it this week, and there's a special tournament going on which Amazon are sponsoring, which I'm going to be mentioning on the LunaCast on Sunday. So check out the LunaCast for things like that. But it's just old school 80s, 90s games, arcade games, C64 games, Spectrum games, Mega Drive games. And it just brings me back to my childhood. Have you had a chance to try it yet? Or have you just seen...
No, I have tried it. And I've only played one game on it so far, which was recapturing some of my childhood. And it was playing Space Invaders. And it was so much fun because I feel like I have not played Space Invaders properly for absolutely ages. So yeah, and it was a good first experience.
It was indeed, and I was playing it on the Fire TV, and you can play it on the Fire Sticks as well, and hook up your controllers so you can play it on the big screen. Worked absolutely fine. I didn't even think it was streaming games. I know these games are only like a megabit or something or in length, but you're actually streaming these old school games. It's just mind-boggling. But it just works really, really well. And save states, and there's challenges and stuff like that. It is cloud gaming, really in a pure, not a complete pure form, but just showing off some of the tech you can actually use with cloud gaming, and it is well worth it. What I mean by save states is if you go into a game and you just want to quit out quickly, it actually saves it where the point you actually quit out from the game, and then you just jump straight back into that point. So if you're in the middle of a battle, I was playing Megalomania. I'm a strategy, like in strategy games, and I actually left and it put me back at the same point when I went back into the game again. Absolutely brilliant. So that is well worth checking out. So I'm going to wrap this up now because we've got another show in 15 minutes, which is our pro game predictions for Stadia. And we'd love you to come and join us for that as well and give us your predictions for what games are going pro on Stadia, because we're getting to that stage because we should find out next week, either Tuesday or Thursday, what March, my goodness, it's coming up to March already, pro games are. Barry, is there anything you want to say at the end here?
No, I think we've covered it all, and it's full steam ahead for the pro predictions at 7 o'clock.
Yeah, and we've got a couple of people joining us. So thanks everybody for joining us. And we are going to be doing the same time next week as well. And we will see you then.
Bye.
Now hit the stop button, Duncan.